Should you buy Leaf's Odyssey in 2025? While I'd love to say yes, I really think it depends on what kind of person you are. For context, I have over 600 hours logged in this game and I'm still playing it on a regular basis. While other content creators have covered this game, such as Aliens Rock or the game's creator himself, Alex Diener, I feel like these videos don't really answer the question of whether or not you should buy this game, at least not in an easily consumable format. Some of these videos were also made way back when the game launched over a year ago, and there was less content in this game at the time, which is why I'm here to give you a detailed review of Leaf's Odyssey from a player with a surprisingly large number of hours sunk into this little indie game. Gameplay. Leaf's Odyssey is first and foremost a puzzle game. There's an aspect of exploration to this game, but the bulk of the gameplay is puzzles. Inspired by Deadly Rooms of Death, this game is turn-based and features puzzles where the goal is to simply kill all monsters in each room. While this sounds very simple on paper, you often need to manipulate the monsters into moving certain ways, otherwise you can't clear the room. Combat is as simple as it gets. If Leaf bumps into a monster on his turn, the monster dies. If a monster attacks Leaf on their turn, Leaf dies. There are a few exceptions here and there, but that's the gist of how combat works in this game. On top of this are some basic block-pushing puzzle mechanics and a few other puzzle elements. With only 6 different monsters in this game and such a primitive combat system, it seems like this game shouldn't have much depth to it at all. However, looks can be deceiving. The game starts by presenting you with a single playable campaign called Tower of Destiny. It's relatively short and not super difficult, taking most players somewhere between 10 to 20 hours to clear. This is considered the main campaign, and the vast majority of players stop after playing this one. In fact, many of the Steam reviews are about this one campaign alone. However, if you're like me and wanted to play even more of this game, to see how far its mechanics can be taken, you'd notice that this game has a level editor, and there are many custom level packs called Worlds that have been uploaded to the game creator's website. This is where the meat of the game truly is. The vast majority of this game's custom worlds are extremely creative and incredibly high quality, but be warned, they're also usually quite challenging. The main campaign, Tower of Destiny, is often considered a baseline for difficulty, but even that isn't exactly a walk in the park. If you like difficult puzzle games, then there is no shortage of difficult worlds to play. Level Editor. The level editor in this game is fairly intuitive to use. It features 5 pages of various elements you can use to build and decorate your rooms. While you don't have a ton of different elements to play with, there are enough here to make some very creative and interesting rooms. In terms of aesthetics, you don't have a lot of options, so many world authors leave it up to the player's imagination to figure out what certain elements should be interpreted as. In terms of gameplay, you have a surprising amount of options. While there are only 6 monsters you can use, there are many fun interactions to discover between these monsters and the various other puzzle elements available. In addition, the game also features a very simple wiring system, consisting of toggle switches, pressure plates, toggle floors, and toggle doors. Despite this simplicity, you can make complex contraptions that are comparable to some of the redstone projects you might see in Minecraft. I also want to note that room sizes in this game are quite small, being only 24 by 16 tiles, and it can be difficult to squeeze everything you want into a room sometimes. With all these limitations, it's easy to think that you can't really do many interesting things in this game, but in my experience, these limitations breed creativity. Some of the most fun I've had with this game has come from just trying to compress and optimize my designs to make them fit into a single room. There isn't any kind of scripting engine for this game, but trust me, there's still a ton of interesting things you can do in this level editor without one. Story. If you're looking for a really deep and immersive storyline, unfortunately, I can't say that you'll be getting that kind of experience from this game. However, while Tower of Destiny doesn't feature any kind of story whatsoever, some of the custom worlds do. Many of the world authors reference each other's worlds and lore, which makes it feel like the community is writing the story for this game, which never had a story to begin with. It may all be non-canon, but it's a very unique feeling for a video game. While other games attempt to do similar things, I'm looking at you, Helldivers, those games often feel like the story is on rails with minimal influence from the actual player base itself. Graphics. While this game takes a more retro pixel art style, the creatures and main character have very cute and charming designs. I know that graphics may not be a big selling point for most people when it comes to puzzle games, but I can assure you that it definitely changes the wider audience's first impressions of the game. For instance, look at these two pictures. Who would you want to play as? The man on the left, or the cute ferret on the right? Now, if you're a longtime Deadly Rooms of Death fan, you've probably grown to like the handsome fellow on the left. But I know that many more people would rather pick the ferret on the right. I do think that the overall art style of this game isn't something that everyone will enjoy, but I think it has its own charm, and that's perfectly fine. Music and sound design. Here's where things are pretty hit or miss. Obviously, whether a song is good or not is pretty subjective, but I would say that many songs in this game are just okay. In my opinion, puzzle game music isn't really meant to be catchy or loud. You're supposed to be solving puzzles, so the music should let you hear your own thoughts over it. Unfortunately, at least for me, some of the songs in this game are a bit too loud and repetitive, which makes it hard to focus on puzzle solving at times. You also can't easily replace the music with your own because the game uses its own proprietary audio system instead of loading up your usual OGG or MP3 files. In terms of sound design, I think that the sound effects are fine, but nothing to write home about. Sometimes the game can get a little bit noisy, but otherwise it isn't too grating on the ears. Overall, while I do enjoy some of the songs in this game, I think this is one of the areas that could have used a bit more work. Options and menus. The game features many options, and I have to say it sometimes feels like there's too many of them. Many of the menus have a lot of text on them. For instance, the level editor's hotkey reference page is like a big wall of text. At other times though, I feel like this game doesn't have enough options. For example, I was 750 moves into a room when I accidentally stepped out of it, losing all progress on that puzzle. A pseudo room locking feature was added at some point to stop Leaf from exiting a room when you hold down a movement button and walk to the edge of a room, but I definitely feel like it wasn't enough. Thankfully, the game does have a fairly robust replay system that allows you to save replays and even use them to re-input moves, allowing you to review what you've done and create your own checkpoints at any time. Community. While the community for this game isn't part of the game itself, I do think it plays an important role in making the custom content for this game fun to play, which is why I've added this section. There are 2 Discord channels for this game that I'm aware of. One that's only available if you subscribe to the developer's Patreon, and the other is free to access and part of the Thinky Puzzle Games Discord. Now, I've only participated in the TPG Discord channel, but I do know that the developer Alex Diener does read the messages there, and he's pretty receptive to bug reports. Most world authors are also in this Discord channel, so you can pretty easily get a hold of them if you encounter an issue when playing through one of their worlds. Since the community is relatively small, there aren't a lot of playtesters for worlds, and sometimes you can get soft-locked and unable to complete a world. This is because there is no verification for uploaded worlds at the moment. I know it sounds bad and possibly even a deal breaker for many people, but so far we haven't had many issues taking a more human approach to sorting these issues out. There also might be a future update which addresses this problem. Speaking of world uploads, there also isn't currently a rating system. This has some positives and negatives. There is a room number and revision count listed for each world that can give you a bit of an idea of how much effort was put into a world, but you can't really tell if a world is going to be low quality or if it's going to be the right difficulty for you. On the other hand, I found that it's easier to upload worlds and not feel too worried that people are going to give it bad scores and reviews. Lastly, I want to talk about how awesome the game's developer is. Sometimes game mechanics get changed, which can cause puzzles to break. However, the developer has been incredibly careful to make sure that no existing puzzles in any uploaded worlds break before pushing out updates. This includes worlds like Chimera Lab, a world I made that abuses a bug to create some rather interesting puzzles. Unlike a lot of other developers, Alex Diener does not patch the fun out of his game. He's even said that if he does fix the Chimera bug, he'll probably add an option to enable the old behavior so people can have the best of both worlds. This is such a refreshing take, after seeing so many terrible Mario Maker and Helldivers 2 updates, so I cannot stress enough how amazingly player-friendly this policy is. I also want to mention that he's currently playing through every single uploaded world and giving feedback on them, so now's a great time to get involved, join the community, and upload new worlds if you want to see the creator of the game play your puzzles. Final thoughts. I would say that if you enjoy challenging puzzle games with incredibly well-made user-generated content and an update policy that doesn't make the game less fun for the player, pick up this game. I'd also recommend it to people who find that limitations breed creativity, because building rooms in the level editor is genuinely one of the most fun parts of the game. It's only a little under 20 bucks Canadian on Steam right now, and it's absolutely been my favorite game to release in the last several years. Despite my gripes with some of the music and menu options, this is easily a 10 out of 10 for me. So, did this review help you decide whether or not to buy the game? Or maybe you already own it and just wanted to hear my thoughts on it. Let me know in the comments below. I think for the next video, I'll try to tackle the most frequently asked question I've seen about this game. Which custom worlds are worth playing? Until then, take care.